Hello, welcome. This is Studio Week 14. This week I have notes done for Chroma. Oh, I'm doing notes. This is the live note taking, as always. I'm doing notes for Chroma. I am in a bit of a unique position, as last week I played against Chroma, and the week before I did my notes for Chroma. So I have a bit of extra insight in order to potentially identify what's going on and how I can help Chroma build their strategy and succeed as a player. They're playing against Pinecone. Pinecone on the player one side, Chroma on player two. Chroma is one of the many local testaments here in the Chicago scene. I'm not necessarily sure how this matchup totally stacks up. Wow, that's a little bit loud. But Ram and Testament seem to have similar ideas in how to execute their game plan, but go about it in different ways. Both of them sort of have not quite like the two-step neutral in air quotes. Testament really wants to get the stain on their opponent, and Ram wants to just keep driving the opponent to the corner. And both of them have some incredibly overwhelming corner offensive sequences. Testament's has, I think, fewer gaps, but Ram's all around is just a little bit more consistent and can get stronger punishes for players trying to gamble out. So that's sort of the end goal for both of those characters as I see it. I could be completely wrong. These are not the characters that I play. Nonetheless, let's take a look. I do not know frame data for these characters other than Testament's 2K is like 7 frames or something with a fantastic low profile. Both these characters, when I think of round starts for these characters, when I think Ram, I think like 2S2D, far slash, IAD back JS, I already said far slash. If you are really in your opponent's head, they can risk it with like Daro. 6P is generally a good call it option. It hits very far forward and relatively mid. So even if there's an attempt at some sort of lower option that's slower than 6P, it might get beaten out. For Testament, when I think of Testament round starts, I think of far slash, I think of 2S, I think of 2K, I think of 6P, IED back, H Gravedigger, maybe even JD from Testament. A similar idea as you'd see from like round start JD from Biken, just as a sort of stationary, it alternates your jump momentum. Regardless, let's just see how this develops. I'm not a main of either of these characters. I played Ram in the first rollback beta, and I played Testament a bit when they came out. But that's my experience with the characters. Let's see what happens. Dash up 2K2D, rec up mix-ups already established. Let's just trying to, I'm going to guess IBFD. Pinecone backdashes to minimize risk of getting punished or contested. Heavy slash tries to dash up. Curious of the button. That looks like 2S. Not sure. But let's just take a look at this once more. I think here, this is really what leads to that opening and getting counter hit. So at 19 seconds, when you block Saberbato, which is the sword toss, when you block Saberbato, especially at that range, you're most likely to be minus. So Ram has the initiative here. Bit of a player matchup idea. A bit of a player matchup thing, player matchup thing. If you have ever played Pinecone, or if you play against Pinecone enough, you can potentially recognize that Pinecone is very liberal with their use of Sword Toss Sabrabato. It doesn't have to be close enough to just be able to run and pick it up close to the corner. Um, Here it's relatively close, but not enough for it to, I think, matter all that much. But Pinecone converts it into a good idea. So this leads to a burst, yeah. That was 2D, Rekka 1-2, gets burst, solid burst point, guaranteed. Gets you out of the corner, Ram loses their sword. Generally good things. I like the burst. Good bursting here. How do you spell guaranteed? Guaranteed? Fuck, I messed it up. Guaranteed. Guaranteed to work, and Ram loses her sword. If it was instinctual, I want you to make sure you are thinking about resources too when on defense. And of note, being on defense is not just when your opponent controls neutral. It's not just when your opponent has you against the corner. It's not just when you're blocking. It also includes being hit. So just having some general awareness. Being hit even lets you have some extra time to look at what's going on. Catches the jump. Good unholy diver. This pressure doesn't really turn into much. Let's see. Just going for the 2 hits of H Gravedigger. That's fine. I think perhaps the biggest thing is off stain pop. You can definitely start a more powerful and threatening offensive sequence here, especially off of something like 2P or 2K, where you have fewer recovery frames on block. You can sort of initiate a more intense offensive string, for instance, by doing a close slash. Close slash often very strong. 2K, it leads to a 5D. Close slash also leads to 5D. If your opponent knows really anything about defending against Testament, then they're not really going to press anything on the stain pop itself. And that may have just been a true block string anyway, so that wouldn't have done really anything unless they were trying to press a button, generally. But I think you could do like close slash 2H to catch some sort of backdash, maybe close slash 2S 5H, close slash 6H. Even just introducing changed and different timings to your Gravediggers will make your offense a little bit less predictable. Pinecone controlling the... Let's just rewind here. Then we lost the initiative. Pinecone just controlling space. There's that liberal use of Sabrabato, dash cancel. That's +1, by the way. How do we feel about this 6P? Yeah, with 2K2D, 6P is sort of a just use it or lose it option. Gets counter hit. Can we just get more here? That was just regular Gravedigger. Can full charge Gravedigger do more here? Just curious. Can full / half charge Gravedigger do more here after counter hit 6P? So the difference here that I'm thinking of is that you cash out on damage when you do the no charge Gravedigger. I guess that, like, if you're just trying to stay safe, and if they had blocked the 6P, you would have gotten a non-counter hit, but I don't know. Doing a longer charge on the Gravedigger, I think could have set up more for like a meaty or an OTG even, and that might have led to a Stain State. That's just my thought process here. Overhead Arbiter. Good use of the Crow. I think this air dash is unnecessary. Yeah, this air dash is just unnecessary. This is sort of extending on my notes for Chroma previously. You don't have to get antsy and approach your opponent. You can just set up shop, set up house, especially with Stain on your opponent. This is really threatening. And just play the long-range grounded game. Because it's up to Pinecone here to leave the corner. And here, by air dashing, you're exposing yourself to sort of slowing yourself down unnecessarily. Testament, already a slow character. Rather than doing an air dash, if you're already in the air, by the time you can recognize that the flip is coming, you can do S Gravedigger just to control the aerial horizontal space. If you're on the ground, you can do H Gravedigger if you had just recognized they were simply in the air. I think that's something that Bipal does really well. But yeah, this is just an overextension, and you get knocked down for it. Low Arbiter, hedging your bets. This Arbiter is unnecessary. This Arbiter is too close. This Arbiter is too close and doesn't really accomplish much. If you get the hit, you basically just reset. If they block, they should punish you. Pinecone didn't punish, so this is 6H, setting up. You probably could have gotten Stain there. So like Arbiter has got to be what? -10 at least. Yeah, that's crazy. Pinecone just lets it go away for free, and they had 50% tension. You were so dead. So what happens after this? Just backing up. IAD back. H Gravedigger. It's fine. They got hit by the Gravedigger, especially Air Gravedigger. That sends them into tumble state. I think setting up Stain would have been better here. I think I messed up my timestamps. Where is this Arbiter going? Did I mess up my timestamps in the notes? I did. That's 46. So this is 46, and then this is 0:49 seconds. This teleport accomplishes as only as much as running up. I think you could get meaty Stain to hit here. And that, to me, feels more threatening. Overhead Arbiter again. No, that's the backup. We're close to the opponent. Reversal Mortabato. Plus RC. Alright, round start. 2S battle. Pinecone. What leads? This is just not doing much. This is Pinecone just making a call. Chroma also making a call. Pinecone happening to do it a little bit early and succeeding off of it. Pressure sequence. FD on wake up, yeah. Oh, this is... You probably just learned the hard way. But backdashing here is so bad. Lost the burst. No punish. Oh. Mix up. Oh, good 6p. Oh, the Gravedigger didn't even come out. Was that an attempt at a red RC? Maybe. We're trying to bait out more Tabato. Alright, on to game 2. Round start. Let's take a look. Just trying to hold space. That's fine. So you're throwing out a lot of arbiters. Chroma's throwing out a lot of arbiters. Throwing out a lot of arbiters. But arbiter really isn't effective unless the opponent is really forced to be on or near the ground. So Testament does a good job of controlling the ground and the air in such a way that the arbiters become effective at the mid to long range. If your opponent is just playing that slow grounded game, trying to get around the arbiters, not the arbiters, the Gravediggers, that's when the arbiter becomes effective. You haven't yet established the control over the air space, and Pinecone has gotten away with being airborne very often. Meaty. Why are you pressing buttons here? Why are you pressing buttons here? Like you FD'd Ram out. Sure, good job. Congratulations. She's further away. She still has huge buttons. What are you pressing for? Calvados. Almost dead, but not quite. One more hit ought to do it. Safe jump. Yeah, auto-timed. Tick throw setup. Would have gotten the OCG after. Round start. There's that IAD back. JH Gravedigger. But I think it was just a call out, and it didn't look like Chroma really just committed to it. It was sort of an afterthought. Tick throw. Yep, that I believe is a true block string. Trying to catch some sort of movement or fuzzy jump. Missed Mortabato. Just playing the ground game. This is you being impatient again. They just swung the H, the big H. When you're at that much of a life deficit, like Ram, I think this is a perfect. Let's check. Yeah, that was a perfect. You didn't even get any offense once that round. We can take a look at the resources. You don't have burst. Pinecone has burst. You basically do not have health. Ram has an entire health bar. You don't have meter, effectively. Ram has 75% tension and positive bonus. There's no reason for you to approach here unless your goal is specifically get the hit. If your goal is specifically get the hit, sure, you can approach, but the goal should be get the win. And by getting the win, you need to be able to play the slow game. We have 83 seconds left here. We have 83 seconds, going on 82 when you IID. The game ends at 81. There was no reason to IAD here. If you're going to approach, you need to have a plan, and this is not a plan. IAD is, I'm uncomfortable and I want to be close to my opponent so I can do my own thing. And even then, Pinecone would be on close to 100% tension for Mortabato RC. This is read the resources. Read the screen. Read the screen. You have no health, no tension, no burst. Pinecone has a full health, 75% tension, and burst. You need to have a plan. Because there's no reason for Pinecone to approach here. There's no reason. Like, Pinecone can just sit still, and that's what they did. They basically just sat still, move forward, move back, wait for the opponent to overextend and punish them accordingly. That's precisely what happened. You got hit, and you died because you didn't have a plan. For counting 3-0, that's functionally set point, or counting to the 3 games. That was just empty jump nothing. That's fine. I have no issues with that. Tick throw. Like, what was the purpose of that Okizeme? This isn't necessarily critical. This is me being curious because this looked like it didn't have a plan against it other than, oh, I'm in the air. Being in the air is inherently scary. Being in the air is not necessarily scary. Being in the air is just another place to be. Being in the air is generally less scary a lot of the time. Because air dash forward is very slow. Air dash forward is generally very slow. You can fuzzy the timing a lot of the time for the high-low. You can fuzzy throw, fuzzy backdash. Maybe not fuzzy backdash. You can hit stop OS that relatively consistently. There's nothing to safe jump here. If you're going for a safe jump in a situation like this, you are just doing it for the auto-timed situation. And this did not have a plan behind it. You got thrown for your troubles. You're in the corner, and now Pinecone has their pressure, and he doesn't have to do a lot. This is a good call out. You got the gold burst too. That hit OTG. True block string. Just trying to be burst safe. Could you have just actually killed there? You could have at least set up Stain. I think setting up Stain here would give you better percentage to take the win. That's relatively safe because it's blocked in the air. I'm not sure, actually. Was that an IB? No. I feel like you should have gotten sent further. That was weird. Tries to 6P, would have caught maybe JS. I think JH might have beaten that. But the 2K, working out. Round start. What does this beat? What does round start IAD beat? What are you expecting that IAD explicitly beats? Get close / stagger strings. Just taking a little bit of a look here, I think you can do a better job of using faultless defense, just with a little bit of extra familiarity on the RAM block string ideas. Dash up 2K 2D. Counter hit Rekka 2 is like one of RAM's best starters. Mortabato Want to guarantee that there's no burst. Just holding back. No dash block or anything. That was, I think, just burst safe. Pinecone letting you live because you were definitely dead if that had finished up. I think there's a little bit of impatience and unfamiliarity with RAM block strings. 6P. There's no way that was counter hit recovery. 6P. Far slash. So if you're trying to do like the bait into a whiff punish idea, you need to use a faster button, like 5P or 2K or 5K or 2P, something like that. Whiffing 6P means it most certainly is not your turn. If you're going for a whiff punish bait, use a faster button like 5P, 2P, faster button like a P or K normal. So you get counter hit here. That was just a hard call out. Dash cancel. That's the mix up between 2K versus literally anything else. IAD back. So when I see IAD back in the corner, that to me means I want to be in the air, but I want to commit less than simply just being in the air. Because you don't go as high, you fall faster. And I'm not sure what sort of purpose this is. This is being very scared in the corner. You are clearly very scared in the corner. Pinecone has no need to do anything risky. And ultimately, you hang yourself by backdashing when the backdash accomplishes nothing more than escaping a throw. Get comfortable dash blocking, and I will emphasize dash forward blocking because there's a lot of unnecessary backdashing going on. That's +1. That, I guess, a call out, but you got punished for it last time. That is +1. Call out 6P. Sending out the Nostrovia. Because he traded, Stain doesn't pop. This is the setup. 6P. Jumping in the corner and then just falling down to the button is risky against something like this. If you are jumping in the corner, you are either just hard blocking or trying to escape the corner. And by coming down to the button, you give the opponent a free punish. If you're jumping in the corner, it's to escape throw or high-low mix, or simply trying to escape. Falling with a button is dangerous because you just gave the opponent a lot of time to try and fight it. That leads to death. Neutral jump JS. Pinecone just trying to dash forward 2K. There's the setup on Stain. That's good. Pressure sequences. You just accomplished nothing with that. You got the Stain pop. You just did dash up 5K. What, like, dash up 5K staggers doesn't do anything. It's just a mid. And it doesn't set up. It doesn't threaten anything. But didn't really capitalize into any meaningful offense. Like, this isn't a huge deal a lot of the time, but when you're just but when it's happening this consistently, that's the issue. Pinecone feels fine trying to contest. You get a guess. That teleport does nothing. I'm going to complain about it because I did a lot of it last time I did notes for Chroma. Stop teleporting. This did nothing. Did nothing but lose you the corner, which is arguably, it is strictly worse than just going for a meaty pressure. Like, you're just trying to mix them up with strike throw, I guess, but you could have done that by just dashing forward. And you had to throw OS yourself. Mortabato doesn't want to deal enough hits to get burst back. Yep. Wall bounce, you might be dead. Calvados probably would have killed you. Have to FD, you're back in the corner. Scared to press anything because of Far Slash. Whiff Rekka 1 into Far Slash goes for the kill. Round start, what's more? ID back, H Gravedigger. Early burst, that was a dangerous burst point. You got called out for it previously. Call out 6P works out. So let's re-examine the situation here. If we pay attention to resources, we are out of range of 5H, and there is no S sword. That means S sub. There's no S sword. There is no H sword, excuse me. So we'd be out of range of Far Slash, not 5H. We're out of range of Far Slash, and there's no H sword. That means S Sabrabato is something you should be playing around. You got hit for your troubles not recognizing what resources Pinecone has. So S Sabrabato like this is strictly to call out air options, air mobility, or just catching you trying to move forward out of the corner. So you could just sort of simply dash block and wait and try to recognize what's going on. You'd be able to block a Far Slash, and there would be little to no threat because that doesn't lead into Heavy Slash because there's no Heavy Slash. You could block Dostrow and just get a straight punish. You could react to the flip with a 5P or a 5K and be able to get a full combo. But by going into the air, you are risking getting hit or returning back to the corner because this is the only sword we have left. We keep the corner, just don't go for a wall break. Pinecone going for heavy meaties. That was a good use of faultless defense here. Called out with 6P. Oh, gotta be careful. Let's look at the meters, please. Look at the meters, please. So when there is at least 50% tension, that means Ram players can get a little bit risky. Pinecone got a little bit extra risky and got the big counter hit for it. There's that 6P. Pinecone has been doing a lot of very grounded round starts. There's that 5P. Rekka mix-ups. Trying to keep them out of the air. Arbiter's Sign. So you got Stain here. And I'm going to assume this is a misdash. But once more, Stain pop leads to nothing. Work on converting a Stain pop into a pressure sequence or reapplying Stain. Pinecone gets out for free, basically. Car dash flip. OTG. Tick throw. Gets the gold burst. That was good. Hard baiting. The delay was fine. I don't think this teleport was needed. I'm going to complain about it because Stain would have probably been better. Stop teleporting. You put yourself at risk by being close to your opponent like this without having anything to properly convert. I've tried to reapply Stain, but you lost it and you lost the game for it. Holy jeez. Unfortunate. All right, let's give some concluding remarks. Conclusion. You need to start using Stain more often and creating opportunities from Stain. As well as that, a lot of your Oki and pressure ideas just look fake. There doesn't seem like a plan, or simply getting a meaty is often better. So I think you can benefit a lot from just spending a week. This next week, you can check the spreadsheet, go to the what I'm working on section, and write down, what am I working on? Applying Stain consistently. That's all you need to do. By getting into that mindset, you'll start to build a more structured and sound offense and neutral pressure, neutral positioning, and that will really allow you to just bloom your gameplay. It will flourish into a beautiful flower and create a cohesive game plan. All in all, I guess you had some solid ideas. You just, in this situation, it looks like you were not very familiar with what Ram was doing. Pinecone has a bit of a more streamlined offense, streamlined neutral, is more focused than a lot of other Ram players, but I think Pinecone is going for simple but effective. He doesn't go for the hard stuff, he doesn't go for anything complex, and he's just catching you trying to press out and move forward when you really just should not have, because he still has so many options that can just punch you in the face. Anyways, good luck in next week of studio if you plan on signing up, and happy practicing.